Hi guys, thank you so much for serving this Sunday. I wanted to give you a quick walkthrough of the lesson so that you understand the different parts for the two classrooms as well as some of the changes that were made for this month. The first thing I'm going to show you is the binder, the white sign out binder. This is going to be on the white bookcase next to the check-in and check-out door. In here, something that is new, I'm not going to get too close, is we have a attendance sheet with the names of the students. And so when they arrive, we're going to take attendance as they walk in the door so that if there was ever a reason that we would need to evacuate, we would already have an attendance list ready to go to take with us to make sure that all the students were with us as we exited the building. We're also going to try something different this week at checkout time. And so I'll tell you about that at the end of the video. But so when they first arrive, have this ready to go to check mark who is here so that we have this attendance sheet in case of an evacuation. Then when we move into the lesson, starting at the beginning, so before we start the morning, before the kids get there, we meet in the check-in room for a prayer time with the children's ministry team. And then we move into the classroom. Every table is empty right now. So who you are serving with, you guys have the option where you could choose the centers to put at tables, or you could give the children the opportunity to choose what center they want to place at their table. There's only one center per table, and they get to do those centers from when they arrive until about 10:10. At 10:10, we tell them it's time to clean up, and we have them continue to just sit at that table while they're cleaning up. And then you would select one student from each table to put that center away on the white bookcase by the front door. Again at the end. So that would take about 5 minutes. So then at 10:15, that is when the 3rd through 5th grade students will line up at the partition to go to their side of the room, and they'll close that partition so they'll no longer have access to one another. The lesson plans are very similar, so I'm going to keep kind of both of them out and go back and forth between the two for the sake of time. So once the two classes have split, we go into our monthly memory verse and prayer time. Both classes have a brown craft paper up on the wall that has their monthly memory verse, and there is a different part each week that we fill out. So we are currently on week 3, and so this week's section is if I ascend to heaven, you are there. And so you can select students to come up and fill in the missing words. When I serve, I let the rest of the kids help to spell the words so that they still feel like they have a part in this. And then we also read the entire memory verse together multiple times. We'll echo it back to one another. Sometimes I'll let one student come up and lead the group. Sometimes we'll just do it all together. And so that is how we practice our memory verse. This month is a little different. We'll have 4 weeks to practice, and then the memory verse Sunday will be on the 5th Sunday. And then after monthly memory verse, we do prayer time. This was a switch for this month. In both classrooms, the students can share their prayer requests, and I ask that you record them in the purple prayer request book. So this is what the one looks like for 3rd through 5th grade. It's the same in the other classroom too. And we just write down what their prayer requests are. Our thought was that sometimes there are some very serious prayer requests with things that are going on with families, and it's good for us to know what's going on because a lot of us are only serving one time a month or maybe once every 6 weeks or so that we kind of know what's going on with families so that we can check in with them and know how to be praying for them. So after we do prayer requests and we model praying those prayer requests together, then we do the Lord's Prayer. And in both classrooms, the Lord's Prayer is displayed. So if there's students that don't have it memorized yet, they shouldn't feel nervous or embarrassed about it. They are welcome to use it. In the 3rd through 5th grade classroom, it's up there on the blue poster on the whiteboard. And in the K through 2 room, it is over on that door over there on the sentence strips that are on the door. All right, so when the monthly memory verse and prayer time is over, it'll be probably around 10:30, 10:35, and we move into our Bible story, which my paper was folded when it went through the printer. This week's story is going to be on pages 240, 241. So you open your Gospel Story Bible. This will be in your material box in your classroom. So if you are in the 3rd through 5th grade classroom, it's that red box right up there. If you are in the K through 2 classroom, it is on the left side of the whiteboard. There's a rolling cart, also a red box that has it in there. So if you turn to pages 240 to 241, right here, the story is about the Great Commission. So we always start with both groups by reading this story. If you're in K through 2, you need to read it out loud to the kids. In 3rd through 5th, if you want to give the kids a chance to read, that is totally up to you. We haven't tried that yet, but that might actually be something that would give them some responsibility and some independence to let them read to one another. So after you read this story, you can go through the questions that are in the book. And then after that, we always refer back to where it actually is in the Bible. So in both classrooms, we have copies of the ESV Bible. In the K through 2 classroom, there's a few copies that are in the material basket for the teachers to read from. In the 3rd through 5th grade classroom, they are in that cart right there. It's behind the doors, and I would recommend letting every student get a Bible, unless if they brought their own, and to look it up and to have them read along, or maybe even read in partners or read out loud, whatever you and your teaching partner are comfortable with doing. And so this week it comes from Matthew 28, 16 through 20. So it's shorter this week than prior weeks have been. Where it differs after this is the discussion questions. K through 2 has simpler questions. 3rd through 5th has a little bit of a deeper dive into the Bible story that we're covering this week. So go through those questions. These don't have to be verbatim. Obviously, feel free to add or take away with what you feel comfortable with the story. And then the 2 classrooms have different crafts and activities this week. So I'm going to show these to you really quickly. So we'll put this aside. And if you are in the K through 2 classroom, this is what you are making this week. When it is done, it will look like this. So it talks about kind of what the Great Commission is and how it affects us. So there's going to be some cutting and some coloring and then putting a brad in. So we have lots of brads for your classroom. And then this is kind of the direction sheet, where as a teacher, if you wanted to use that to look at, you can. I always recommend showing the kids the example so that they have an idea of what their kind of goal is. And then every student is going to get a stapled pack of papers. So they need to color it and then cut it out. Color it and then cut it out. Then that way, if for some reason they don't get it all done before the time is over, it's still stapled together. So it should be easier to get home than if it was all over the place. And just work with the groups to try and help pick up all the cutaway parts that they do, because there's going to be a lot this week. But they'll just need their materials that go with their table. I'm going to show you really quickly. Over on that table that's underneath the Lord's Prayer is material buckets that are numbered, and every table has a number written on it. So table 1 gets the number 1 material buckets, and so forth. All right, so back over here, that is really all that they are doing in K through 2 for their craft this week. Now, if you are in 3rd through 5th grade, you have a different activity where they're going to be making bracelets. So they're going to be, I asked that they get 2 pipe cleaners to start with, 2, and then they can have 1 of each of the following colors of beads for their bracelets. This is in the lesson plan, so you don't have to memorize this. 1 black, 1 red, white, blue, green, and yellow. And so you're going to kind of discuss what those meanings are. This is all in the lesson plan. It's all right here so you can see it. So black represents our sin. Red represents Jesus's, blood. That's supposed to say blood. That took our sins away. White represents our sin washed clean. Blue represents baptism, green represents us growing in faith, and yellow or gold represents our reward in heaven. So I recommend that they make 2 so that they can make 1 for themselves and 1 to give away to someone in their life. It could be another believer. It could be someone that they want to share their love for Jesus with. If they want to make more than 2 and there's still materials left, that is totally fine with me. I actually have a whole nother stack of pipe cleaners. I separated out the beads into 3 containers so that hopefully you can split the students that are in the 3rd through 5th grade classroom into 3 smaller groups so they can work together as a team. I also did not count out the beads because I want them to be searching for the colors that they need. But that is your activity, and kind of discussing what those colors mean. What does baptism mean? All of those types of things. For both groups, if there is extra time, some things to think about is they can go back into center activities. That would be fine. They can play 4 corners. That is a favorite game of theirs. If you do choose to play that, the last time we played, Carson Lister was our last winner, so he should be the one to lead the game if you choose to do that, or charades or group game of your choice. And then when it's dismissal, you're going to greet the parents at the door. to collect their child's sticker, and the students must not gather at the door. We want to keep them safe and also be able to let kids exit quickly. So we are going to ask that they stay with their group or at their table until their name is called. So if someone comes up to you, take that moment to gently remind them that they need to go back and sit where they were until their parent has arrived to take them back home. One last thing. I almost forgot. We are sending home a flyer to remind them about the K through 5th grade skating party. It is open to invite family and friends. Really, anyone can come. The rink is paid for. The skates are paid for. You can bring food or you can buy food there. And so we would love for people to register to attend that event. So there is a code that they can scan to register, or they can just go in through the Oaks app. But I put a table outside the classroom. I'm not sure if it's still going to be there. I need to ask if it's okay that we have it there. But I would like for this to go home, and then also the May parent note, if any parents haven't taken that yet, and then the Camp Lebanon brochure, if any parents are interested and haven't taken that yet. So, but this is the most important because this is just a week away. And I believe that's it. Thank you guys so much for serving. If you want to be able to look at the lesson plans before tomorrow morning, they are up on Planning Center. So you're welcome to take a peek at them there. But you guys are wonderful. I appreciate you, and thank you for serving tomorrow.